2 million luxury watches, returned, unsold, sent back through the system like rejected status symbols. Just 3 years ago, these watches were untouchable. Waiting lists stretched for years. Retailers played gatekeepers. Resale prices made stocks look boring. A steel sports watch could outperform real estate. Now, display cases are full. Secondary markets are flooded. And watches that once whispered power are being handed back in silence. This isn't just a slowdown. It's a psychological break. Because luxury watches don't fail quietly. They fail when belief collapses. When buyers stop seeing scarcity and start seeing surplus. I'm ranking 9 luxury watch brands tonight from worst to best to decode how prestige evaporated so fast and why number 1 didn't fall the hardest but reveals the most. Stay with me, because this ranking isn't really about watches. It's about what luxury means now. Let me start at the bottom. Number 9. Hublot. Think back to the Big Bang era. Loud, disruptive, modern luxury for a new money world. It wasn't whispering wealth. It was shouting arrival. But oversaturation killed it. Too many collaborations, too little restraint. When everything is limited, nothing is rare. The brand that once disrupted luxury became a parody of itself. The numbers are brutal. Some models lose 40 to 50% of retail value the moment they leave the boutique. The market spoke clearly. Nobody wants it used. From bold flex to flashy mistake. What once signaled confidence now suggested insecurity. Trying too hard, saying too much. Luxury fast food, expensive, filling, instantly forgettable. Number 8, Tag Heuer. Tag once had motorsport credibility. The Carrera and Monaco meant mechanical authenticity. Steve McQueen wore one. That mattered. What went wrong? Identity drift, caught between entry luxury and fashion accessory. The brand that once built bridges to haute horology became the watch you buy at the airport. Walk into any gray market. Dealer and Tag Heuer fills the cases at 30% off. From enthusiast badge to safe but boring purchase. An overplayed anthem, everyone knows it, nobody seeks it out. Number 7, Breitling. Tool watch authority, aviation, masculinity, purpose. Pilots wore them, astronauts wore them. That lineage meant everything. The decline? Too many references, too little focus. The catalog bloated, the message blurred. When you stand for everything, you stand for nothing. Outside the Navitimer, most references struggle to hold retail. People acknowledge Breitling's history. They just don't dream about owning one anymore. A pilot jacket worn to the mall. Functional, authentic, completely out of context. Number 6, IWC. Engineering prestige, quiet professional success. The big pilot, the Portuguese, watches that said you understood complications without explaining them. But when luxury bifurcated into hype kings and heritage icons, IWC got stuck in the middle. Not flashy enough for social media, not scarce enough for collectors. The market isn't rejecting IWC, it's forgetting it. And forgetting is worse. The executive sedan nobody dreams about. Reliable, refined, invisible. Number 5, Omega, the Moon Watch. NASA chose it. The Seamaster had Bond. The Speedmaster had history. That should have been enough. But scale dulled urgency. When you can walk into any boutique and walk out with a Speedmaster, the hunt disappears. And in modern luxury, the hunt was half the value. Speedmasters hold value. They just don't appreciate. The market respects Omega but doesn't chase it. It's the watch you're glad you bought, not the one you had to have. Now let me tell you what connects every decline so far. Luxury didn't collapse. Signaling did. When watches became financial assets, brands optimized for demand, not mystique. Scarcity turned into strategy. Strategy turned into scale. And scale killed belief. Because luxury was never about owning something good. It was about owning something others couldn't. If you're deep into this breakdown, hit subscribe. Because what comes next explains why even the kings stumbled. Number 4, Cartier. Timeless design, cultural immortality. The tank defined wrist presence for a century. Royalty wore it, icons wore it. But fashion ubiquity diluted exclusivity. When every influencer has a tank, timeless becomes predictable. Tanks, Santos models, even Ballon Bleu, all trading below retail on secondary markets. Cartier became the watch you buy for taste, not triumph. A classic song used in too many commercials. Still beautiful, no longer special. Number 3, Audemars Piguet, the Royal Oak. Design revolution. Gerald Genta's masterpiece created a category. Luxury sports watches. Steel at gold prices. For decades, AP existed in a rarefied space, respected by purists, desired by collectors, unknown to civilians. Owning a Royal Oak meant you understood something most people didn't. You weren't wearing a logo. You were wearing knowledge, but hype concentration killed it. The Royal Oak became AP. Everything else faded. When 90% of your cultural capital lives in one model, you're not building a brand, you're riding a trend. As the Royal Oak exploded on social media, as every wealth influencer posted the same wrist shot, AP faced an impossible contradiction. How do you stay exclusive when everyone knows your name? They tried everything. The Code 11.59 dress collection? Market rejected it immediately. They expanded the Royal Oak line, new sizes, materials, complications. But more Royal Oaks amplified the problem. Look at the data. The 15,500 held. The 15,400 softened. Offshore models dropped hard. Code 11.59, dead on arrival, 30 to 40% below retail. The market spoke clearly. We want the original dream, not the expanded universe. Emotionally, the shift was brutal. When every wealth account shows the same octagonal case, the signal lost precision. The watch that once meant, I know, started meaning, I also know. In luxury, being part of a crowd kills value faster than any market correction. For years, the ultimate flex wasn't rarity. It was obscure rarity. The Royal Oak lived in that sweet spot. Expensive enough to signal wealth, obscure enough to signal taste. Then Instagram collapsed the information asymmetry. Suddenly, everyone knew what a Royal Oak was. The knowledge gap that made it a secret handshake evaporated. An indie band that sold out arenas. Still good, no longer yours. Number 2, Rolex. Universal status. Rolex transcended watches and became cultural shorthand for success itself. The Daytona meant you'd made it. The Submariner meant you'd arrived. Each model carried decades of cultural weight. Paul Newman, James Bond, explorers, CEOs. For generations, this worked perfectly. Waiting lists existed, but they felt legitimate. The scarcity seemed honest, until it didn't. Around 2018, the scarcity stopped feeling honest. It started feeling theatrical. Flippers documented getting multiple allocations. Gray market dealers mysteriously had inventory that authorized dealers claimed didn't exist. Production estimates leaked, suggesting Rolex made over 1 million watches per year. 1 million watches. That's not scarcity, that's manufacturing. Social media accelerated the revelation. People compared notes, wait times didn't match. Some first-time buyers got Daytonas immediately, while loyal customers waited years. The system wasn't managing legitimate scarcity, it was managing artificial scarcity. Here's what killed Rolex's spell: the realization that the wait wasn't about craftsmanship, it was about control. Rolex discovered artificial scarcity created more desire than availability, so they leaned into it. But scarcity-based desire is fragile. It requires belief. The moment buyers suspected the shortage was manufactured, desire transformed into resentment. Rolex went from "I can't get one" to "they won't let me have one." That's not prestige. That's gatekeeping. The data is devastating. Submariner references that traded at 18 to 20,000 in 2021, now barely holding 14. The GMT Batman, Once commanding $25,000, back to 16. The Steel Daytona, at peak hype, $45,000 to $50,000. Retail was $14,800. That 300% premium represented pure belief. Today, $28,000 to $32,000. Still a premium, but collapsing. The secondary market that once added 50% to MSRP now barely breaks even. What changed wasn't supply. What changed was belief. COVID hit. Markets went crazy. Watch speculation exploded. Everyone who wanted a Rolex bought one or three. The flippers arrived. But speculation markets exhaust themselves. By 2022, everyone who wanted one as an investment already had one. And beneath the frenzy was a simple truth. Rolex makes 1 million watches a year. They were never actually rare. They were just controlled. Rolex didn't become bad. It became legible. There's a specific feeling when you see the 10th Submariner in a single day. Boredom. Rolex became boring through familiarity. Once you understand how the game works, it stops being impressive. A luxury logo everyone suddenly has. Still quality, no longer distinction. Number 1, Patek Philippe. It didn't fall the least. It revealed the most. Even Patek cooled. At peak insanity, a steel Nautilus 5711 traded for $200,000. Retail was $34,890. Today, $120,000 to $140,000. The spell is breaking. But here's what makes Patek different. It cooled from insanity to sanity. While others fell from desirable to discount, Patek fell from unobtainable to merely difficult. From investment mania to actual luxury. Not a flex, an heirloom. Patek Philippe never chased the hype. Hype found it. Rolex engineered scarcity. A P concentrated on one model. Patek just continued. They maintained production at 60,000 pieces annually. They didn't flood social media. They didn't create artificial shortages. They advertised with the same message. You never actually own a Patek Philippe. You merely look after it for the next generation. During the boom, this seemed quaint. People weren't buying for the next generation, they were buying for next month's flip. But Patek never changed the message. They understood. Luxury isn't about today's premium. It's about tomorrow's relevance. When Nautilus demand exploded, they could have tripled production. They would have made billions. They didn't. Instead, they discontinued the 5711, their most hyped model, at the peak of its demand. Why kill your golden goose? Because Patek understood the golden goose wasn't the Nautilus. It was the brand's long-term integrity. The 5711 had become too famous, too associated with speculation rather than appreciation, so they killed it. Deliberately. Making a statement. We are not here for hype cycles. The Nautilus dropped from 200,000 to 140. The Aquanaut fell from 80 to 55. Painful for speculators, healthy for the market. But complications, grand complications, perpetual calendars, minute repeaters, barely moved. Because those buyers never cared about hype. They cared about craft. Patek's speculative models corrected hard. Traditional models held strong. The market separated investment buyers from actual collectors, flippers from keepers. Patek reminds collectors what real luxury was supposed to be: patience, inheritance, restraint. Every other brand taught the market to optimize for now. Get it quick, flip it fast. Patek teaches the opposite. The value is in the keeping. We've spent a decade treating everything like a tradable asset. Everything had a price. Everything had a move. Nothing was permanent. Patek's message, that some things are meant to be kept, feels radical precisely because it's so old-fashioned. What did the flipping accomplish? People made money, then lost it. They had watches briefly, but never really had them. Meanwhile, the person who bought a Calatrava in 2015 and wore it every day, they still have it. They still love it. And they don't care what it's worth. Ownership over investment, meaning over money. Here's what Patek understood. Luxury was never supposed to be liquid. The entire point was permanence. You bought something of quality, and it lasted. You bought something of beauty, and it aged well. When watches became assets, when resale became the point, luxury died. Not the products, the philosophy. Patek is resurrecting that philosophy. The people still buying Pateks aren't calculating ROI. They're calculating legacy. Will this watch still matter in 2054? Will my children understand why I chose it? These are the questions that should drive luxury. These are the questions Patek never stopped asking. Patek survived. Best not because it fell least, but because it fell right. It shed the speculators. It cooled the mania. It returned to its core truth. The brand that seemed most out of touch with modern luxury culture is proving to be most in touch with what luxury actually means. While others chased clicks and premiums, Patek just made beautiful, complicated, timeless watches. And when the noise cleared, that's all anyone actually wanted. This ranking exposes something bigger than watches. Luxury didn't die. Performative luxury did. For a decade, status was scarcity became a marketing tactic. And when everyone played the same game, the game collapsed. 2 million watches returned isn't a supply problem, it's a belief reset. The next era won't reward the loudest logo or the longest waitlist. It will reward restraint, understatement. Brands that make fewer pieces, speak less, and let time, not hype, do the work. Quiet luxury isn't a trend, it's a correction. The market is remembering what luxury actually meant before social media turned it into performance. Real luxury was always about something else. Not what others see, what you know. The collectors who survive this shift won't be chasing the next hot reference. They won't be posting wrist shots for validation. They'll be buying what still feels meaningful when nobody's watching. When the Instagram story ends, when the group chat moves on, when it's just you and the thing itself. That's the test luxury is facing now. If you want to understand where luxury is really going next, stay with me here at Lux Crisis, because the loud era is over. Subscribe, because this is just the beginning.